Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Blame yourselves for this fucking word salad that I just spit all over the goddamn plate. This is all your fault. You and I like me. That's it. I work under the cover of darkness because I don't need the rest of society to look in my eyes and know that is a bad person. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I am here. My producer is here. She's got a mouthful of biscotti. And I've instructed her to do that for the entire show. This is going to be very interesting. By the end of the show, I'm going to be covered in biscotti crumbs. I'm going to look like the Thing from Fantastic Four, but instead of orange rocks, I'll be covered in orange chewed up biscotti crumbs. I don't know why they'd be orange. It's an almond biscotti. It's not an orange biscotti. Although, orange biscotti sounds good. Biscotti sounds good. I got to be honest with you, folks. I don't eat biscotti. I'm not a hard guy. I don't like eating like hardtack or like crunchy like cookies. Fuck that. Soft batch, folks. I'm an old man. I got to keep my teeth. That's bullshit. I don't eat soft batch either. I won't eat those because it's like I can't imagine how many chemicals they had to pump into those cookies to get them to fold when I bite into them like that. Crunchy's not bad. Like a Chips. I like a crunchy Chips Ahoy. Seriously, think of those like soft batch cookies, and you pull them out and they squish. Like you know what? I always think this is gonna sound stupid. All right, I know it does, but then again, fuck, what else? What doesn't when I talk? I always think whenever I squish one of those cookies, it should go like it should make a noise because I know it's so foreign and fake. There's no way because fresh baked cookies, yeah, they're soft, but then if you leave them on the countertop, they naturally get crispy. They get a little harder. But these are in a package and sent. I mean, what kind of fucking horrible Dow styrofoam nonsense have they injected inside those cookies to get them to stay soft forever and ever and ever? Oh, horrible. All right. So, yeah. Oh, no, your biscottis are gone. Good. She's going to laugh now and cover me with biscotti crumbs. That'll be fine. Chew them up. I'm not a biscotti guy. I don't like them, but she opened them, and when she opened them, she's like, would you like one? And yes, right now, honestly, there is nothing I want more other than for the show to be over than to have a huge fucking biscotti. I don't know why. I don't like biscotti. I don't like tea or coffee, and that's a very tea and coffee type of cookie. But for some reason, when I saw them, I eyed them right when I walked in, almond biscotti on the fridge, and I'm like, I should have one of those. And now I've been sitting here for an hour thinking about them. I won't lie. I obsess over a biscotti. So now here I am telling you about it. You don't care. Nobody cares about my biscotti fiending. Because I'm fiending for biscotti. You know what I want to do? That's what I want to do. I want to crunch that biscotti up and cook it in a spoon and shoot it right into my goddamn vein. Holy shit, that'd be fucking awesome. Oh, if you want to ride the almond biscotti. All right. If you want to be rich, those biscottis are very rich. All right, never mind. I've talked about biscotti for 9 minutes. I haven't even eaten that many biscotti in my life. I've talked more about biscotti now than they do in Italy. Right now, in Italy, they're stunned. They're right now flash frozen because they're like, what the fuck? Someone's talking. There's a biscotti alarm. Right now, someone is shining the biscotti signal in the sky in Italy, and they're going, oh my God, someone in America won't stop talking about biscotti. Biscotti sounds like a poodle's name, right? Doesn't it? As I keep saying it over and over, it sounds like a dog's name. All right. Folks, I'm going to talk quickly because I'm going to try to get through this show before someone sneaks in and puts a shaving cream pie in my face. I was watching, who am I kidding? I wasn't watching the Rupert Murdoch hearings because I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I know the world does, and I know on a larger scale we all should care because it's all about bugging us and tapping into our phones. Folks, and again, I hate to sound like, Captain Conspiracy, but if you don't think they're hearing your cell phone calls now, and when I say they, I don't mean like the shadowy... fucking the Illuminati. The Illuminati is not listening to your cell phone calls. No, it's some nerd with like a fucking tap-in radio in his house, and he's being able to pick up cell phone calls. He's hearing you. That's why do you think Eric Stoltz yelled, "Hey, prank caller, John Travolta in Pulp Fiction"? He knows that someone is hearing his cell phone calls at all times. So I warn you now as you talking to your cell phone. And by the way, I should tell you this: I have head cancer. I'll just throw that out there right now. And I blame cell phones, and I blame Bluetooth, and I blame my fucking iPhone and iPod. Because right now, I think that now every time I listen to my iPhone or iPod, I think it's putting pleasant music into my ears and also cancer. It's channeling cancer right into my ears because, folks, my eye still hurts. But now it's like it hurts worse. Like it's my eyeball. Did I talk about my eye hurting on here? I didn't even mention it. All right, last week my eye hurt, and I thought I talked about it, but Lily's giving me the head shake. But I have pain in my eyeball. It's not like a weird general headache. Like it was like a headache behind my eye, I thought, but it's the actual eyeball that hurts. Like if you touch it, it like pain kind of radiates through it. And I'm like, well, that's not good. But it's usually one of those things where I'm like, you know what, I probably just strained my eyes because here's what I do now, like when I'm at work. I read my phone. Like I read Twitters on my phone, and there'll be like 350 Twitters, so I'll go through them, and I'll read stuff on the web, and I'll read articles, and then I'm like, well, maybe you strained the fuck out of your eyes. But here we are a week later, and still, it's spread. It actually now is kind of like in my eye socket, it feels like. So I figure I must have a tumor, right? I gotta have a tumor. It's the revenge of Kirk. It's the revenge of Idaho Kirk. He sent me his the tumor via email, and it got sucked into my fucking brain. That's horrendous. So I'm trying to get through it. I'm like, it's just, dude, I have no insurance. And again, this is when I had insurance. This is the shit I would take care of. I would just go in and go, hey, he said, I told you, literally, hey, my eyebrow hurts. Take a look at it. You know what I mean? Or, hey, my lip feels weird. Honestly, anything at all, I would burn the $20 and go to the doctor. But like, I can't, like when I had that rash, and then I'm like, and now my eye hurts, and that foot, and it's like, I'm old. I'm a fucking old man. Terrible. Here's something that's funny. My buddy Dennis, he called me. We were talking this week. And I've talked about Dennis on here, but Dennis, he used to listen to the show all the time, right? And then he would call me and he'd be like, "Oh my God, dude, that show." Well, I haven't talked about it in over a year. He's got a girlfriend and a life, and he just got engaged, and everything's fine for him. Good, but so he just abandoned the show. I thought. So I'm talking to him on the phone, and he's like, "Hey, I was listening to your show, and you talked about being old, about how your foot's all fucked up, and you got that rash and stuff." And I go, "When did you listen to the show?" He goes, "I listen to the show all the time." So what that means is he's listened to the show for a year and never once wrote me to tell me it was funny or good. This is a guy I've known 30 years. I've actually talked about him on the goddamn show, and he never even dropped me a note to go, "Hey, dude, heard your show. It was funny." Nope, couldn't care less. He listened. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, because then I look like a needy fuck. It's bad enough I got to call Mex on Thursday and go, "Was the show funny?" I mean, was the show funny? Because he's the sounding board. Literally, he's the only guy. Well, I mean, he's not the only guy. I care. I hope you guys think it's funny. But he's the guy who kind of knows what I'm trying to do. And so I'm like, dude, was it funny? And you can't. And also, I can't bother you folks with it. How terrible is that? Hey, anonymous listeners, was I funny? Turn off the Biscotti signal and let me know if I was funny. Because I got plenty of listeners in Italy, folks. Oh, my Christ, so many. I got a German guy who listens to me, and he Twitters me in German. He follow Fridays me, but I no, it's more like follow whatever. I don't know what's Friday in German. I have no idea. But he tells people, and he writes it in German. So then I write him back in German. Like I go to Google Translate and I put in a thing, and then it comes out. Yes, I do. And I write him. I always Twitter him back in German. I write him a note in German, and then he wrote me in English. Finally, like last week. And I wrote him back and I go, yeah, I usually answer you in German, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with English this time. And he goes, good, because he said those phrases looked very Google translated. I'm like, yes, they were. So I thought I was telling him, thanks for listening, I appreciate it, when really I was saying, your salami dawns at midnight, go ahead and dig a hole. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know if that has any relative, meaning to anyone in Germany. So, you know what? It looked like I was telling him to go pick up some microfilm. I was truly the Falcon and the Snowman at that point. I was telling him to go pick up some sort of microfilm in the park when I thought I was just telling him thanks. So I don't give a fuck about Rupert Murdoch or the cell phones or the nonsense. I mean, look, if they're hacking into celebrities' phones and all, it's bullshit, and hopefully some bad shit happens to them, okay? But here's the worst part. Rupert Murdoch is a horrible, horrible person. We can all agree with that, right? He's a terrible, terrible guy. He's crazy rich because he's just constantly... Rupert Murdoch... you ever see the scene in The Terminator where there's just a skull and then a metal foot crushes the skull and they pan up and there's a cyborg Terminator and he's got a gun and he's hunting everybody? That's Rupert Murdoch. and the skull is fair journalism. All right, the skull represents fair journalism, and Rupert Murdoch he's being sent from the future to the past to stomp on fair journalism and crush it into tiny pieces and then hunt down the last remnants of it and turn this into a corporate utopia. Well, guess what? It's happened. So now he can throttle down. But instead, now they're tapping the phones of celebrities, they're tapping the phones of murder victims. And dude, come on, all right, look. If you want to tap a phone, whatever the fuck. If that's your thing, go right ahead. You want to get a story. But dude, don't tap somebody's phone, listen to their messages, and then erase them, hoping that you'll get more messages to flood in. because all you're doing is letting the family think that somehow she checked her fucking messages. That's the part of the story I'm astonished by. Did none of them think that was the case? The fact that look, if you will listen to the messages, again, I'm not saying that's good. All right. But I understand why you're doing what you're doing and you're trying to write a story. It's horrible. And I hope to God that you realize eventually some other guy will be sent from the future to stomp on your fucking skull. But then to go ahead and erase the messages. I mean, you fucking callous cocksucker. You know what I mean? And now it's so funny to see them trying to defend themselves and scatter like fucking roaches in the face of all of this. Did you see the clip of Steve Coogan where Steve Coogan was on with some guy from News of the World? That guy from News of the World looks so fucking petty and small because he basically his whole point was, you're a celebrity, you should be used to this. You're a celebrity. We have a right to do this to you. No, nobody has a fucking right to do any of that to anybody. If you want to do it, that's fine, but don't hide behind the fact you have a right or it was just you were researching a story. You're a fucking scumbag, all right? And Rupert Murdoch is a fucking scumbag. So he shows up at this hearing with this fucking doofus kid who's there. How much of a fucking disappointment is it for these captains of industry when the women they bang squeeze out these fucking nothings? Holy shit. Every time you see, there's some big time guy, and then all of a sudden you see his namby-pamby son next to him with like Trump's kid. Oh, what a fucking grease spot. God damn it, I hate Trump's kid. But he's going to luck into fucking millions and fuck hot chicks all over the fucking world and just be a fucking pillowcase the rest of his life with horrible hair. But it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter because he's got the fucking surname and everybody in this country respects money. That's it. Big dicks and money. That's what this whole fucking country is about. That's all we produce. That's it. We're done. We're done producing steel. We're done producing everything else. All we produce are big dicks, money, and envy. God damn it, what's wrong with us? So brutal to see unions getting crushed and people getting fucking torn asunder and families getting ruined and all people want to do is chase Casey Anthony around. That's all they want to fucking do. Now they're trying to figure out where she moved. Now it's become a fucking scavenger hunt. Now it's like Pee Wee Herman. They're set up in a basement with a full-scale model of the mall trying to figure out where Casey Anthony is. Holy fuck! You know what it is? It's where in the world is Casey Anthony? And they're looking for clues. There's helicopters following chicks who sort of look like her, and a woman who looked like her got beat up at a gas station. Folks, throttle the fuck down and take care of your life, all right? The fucking kid is dead, and Casey Anthony's free, and she's going to do whatever she's going to do. Just ignore her. Ignore her, she'll go away. Who the fuck cares? Really, honestly, let it go. I mean, unless you're going to make it a show. If you're going to make it a show, there's a movie, it's a great movie called Series 7, I think, and it's a story about how in the future there's a lottery and they grab 5 people and those 5 people have to hunt each other down and the winner gets $1 million, and they do it every year. January 1st they have a drawing, 5 people have to basically search for each other all over the world, and then the winner at the end gets like a prize and money and I think goes free. I don't know what the fuck they get. So let's do that. Let's make it a fucking show. But you can't, nobody can kill Casey Anthony. I don't want that to be the case. If you find her, you gotta, I don't know, tickler. I don't know. You get something. Tickler. Why not? Just and film it or film her. But that's it's not. It doesn't even have to be an official show now anyway because they're going to do that anyway. People are going to find her and film her or whatever because they were supposedly in Palm Springs. They said now, and they actually asked the mayor. They asked the mayor of Palm Springs if he knew she was there. Is he in the business of knowing who the fuck is in his town? Or this isn't fucking the Old West. It's not fucking Tombstone. We don't have the marshal checking people at the goddamn border. Hey, we don't take kindly to your kind here. No, it's not happening. If Casey Anthony in her pink top and her fucking leggings wants to slip in under the cover of night with her cigar in her mouth, it's going to happen, okay? She'll go in, get a fucking makeover, and then eventually kill somebody else, and then we'll all care again. Oh, Christ, let it go. But unless you're going to make it a show, where in the world is Casey Anthony? Then I tune in. Although that's just, come on, that's going to end in tragedy, right? I mean, because eventually, it's going to run for a while and it'll be a success, but then eventually Dora the Explorer is going to disappear. No one's going to know where she is. That's going to turn out that Casey Anthony has Googled chloroform and Dora the Explorer, and the next thing you know, they find her, their magic backpack with duct tape on her mouth. Can't have that happen. And then it happens all over again, folks. We don't want that to happen. We can't give her a show. Take it back. That's getting. We don't need to see Zubumafu fall into a pool and get put into the trunk of a car. That's not going to happen very well. We don't want that to happen. Poor Zubumafu. Zubumafu, what's he? He's like a rat or something, right? Zubumafu? I think he is. He's like a slinky African animal. What does that mean? That's so stupid. Because he's like a jungle animal. He's like he's not like a domesticated dog or something. Zaboomafoo's he looks like a skunk, right? He's like a long skunk. Yeah, like something, because he's got stripes, I think. I don't know. I don't watch much PBS as I should. See, that's the thing, is we put Casey Anthony on PBS, and sure enough, eventually Word Girl disappears. And then Speedy McFeely from Mr. Rogers finds her skull. Folks, see the fun we're having with PBS and murder? So look, my point is, leave her alone. Live your lives, all right? There's no reason to chase this girl down. It just doesn't matter. But people are so fucking angry. And again, I'm not advocating the death of her daughter or her being cool or anything like. I don't like her. I'm not a fan. It's not like I'm like, woohoo, this is great. But I mean, if your life has become a meme, I mean, bad things are going to befall you anyway. And the thing is, she has another hearing coming up for the stealing of the nanny's identity, or she blames. So she's got to go back to court in Florida. It doesn't matter where the fuck she is now. You know what? Hang out at the courtroom in Florida, which you've been so comfortable doing for the past fucking year anyway, because eventually she's just going to show back up. And if you really want to make yourself useful, research other cases that have been like this and find those people. There's a bunch of shitty people who got away with stuff out there. Why not fuck them up? You know what I mean? Let Casey Anthony have a year off for a while and let her. You know what? That's the best part. Leave her alone. Let Casey Anthony go ahead and live her life and maybe, get a book deal or whatever the fuck. Let her alone. And then after a year, then go after her. Like, she's like, get the element of surprise working in your favor. Like, everybody should just leave her the fuck alone and be nice to her. That'd be even better. You know what? As a nation, let's be the mean girls of Casey Anthony. Let's do that. As a nation, let's all pretend that, you know what, bygones are bygones. Who the fuck cares? And let's be friendly to her and hang out with her and have dinner with her and be friends. And then after a year, then everybody turn on her at once. Right when she's comfortable. That's what you got to do. Because now she's frosty now. She's going off for manicures and pedicures and cutting her hair and trying to, sneak around. Let's let her fucking live among us, folks. That's what you do. You domesticate her. Let's domesticate the Casey Anthony. And then after a fucking year, we all turn on her. And then we stone her to death right there in Times Square, right? How's that sound, right? Because that's all you people want to fucking do. Dude, there's so many people who got away with shit. There's so many people. I was reading some story, because I was reading about the Casey Anthony, everybody's like, where is she going? What's she doing? And then they said, it's kind of like a case of Karla Holumka or something. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Because it didn't even give any background. It just had her name. So I'm like, all right. So I Google her. Dude, Karla Holumka was some chick in Canada who wound up dating a guy, and then he became obsessed with taking her sister's virginity. So she said okay, and they drugged her sister. They put Vicodin in spaghetti. It's the fucking weird. Go read that fucking story. All right, Casey Anthony's got a lot of bullshit, and there's a pool and maybe a father and a trunk and chloroform and Googling. Well, Karla Holumka didn't have Google, man. She went the old fucking fashioned way. They went Vicodin in the spaghetti. That's how they took care of their goddamn crimes. So they fucking drugged her 15-year-old daughter or sister and got her. And she passed out from Vicodin in the spaghetti, and then she told her boyfriend go at it, and her boyfriend raped her while she was asleep. But after a minute, she wakes up. Dude, look, if you're gonna put Vicodin in a 15-year-old's anything, it's got to be like ice cream or something that they're gonna really eat. I mean, a 15-year-old's not gonna put, especially a little 15-year-old girl. She's not gonna put away a lot of spaghetti. You can't expect her to fucking fall asleep through a rape. If you want to do something like that and you want to be successful, go ahead and spike a Diet Coke. There you go. If you spike her Diet Coke with Vicodin, boom, she's out forever, and your fucking creepy boyfriend can take care of business. But no, you Vicodin in the spaghetti. I can't even imagine the thought of that. Let's put Vicodin in the spaghetti. And look, granted, it was their first attempt. Because as we find out later, they got better at it. So what happened was, the husband then, he's her boyfriend at the time, so he rapes the sister, but the sister wakes up, and then it's because I read it at Wikipedia and stuff, and it just trailed off there. It didn't say that the sister realized what was happening. She just kind of woke up, so I think the guy stopped. Okay. And immediately went, we need more spaghetti! He's on top of her. He thinks everything's going to be fine. She's passed out. Who's even having fun at that point? Nobody, right? It can't be the sister watching it happen. Can't be the other sister. She's passed out. She's not enjoying herself. And this guy's banging a corpse with spaghetti sauce on its mouth. So then, sure enough, she starts to wake up and immediately get more spaghetti. But instead, I guess he just stopped, put it away, and he's like, all right, whatever. We'll try again another time. And they did. This is the craziest fucking story. A few years later, I think it was a year later, they drugged her food again, and this time they really did it. They had sex with her. And fucking, she died. She wound up vomiting in her sleep and dying. And then They dressed her in her clothes and put her back in her bed, and the police investigated and just said, oh, it was like an accident. They suspected stuff, but they couldn't prove anything, so they let them go like nothing happened. So then she winds up marrying this other... they marry each other, those crazy people, and the woman who gave up her sister to the husband, and then they start kidnapping girls and like raping them and having sex with them, and then they cut their bodies up and they put it in cement blocks and they sink them in the fucking ocean. The ocean, is the ocean in Canada? I have no idea where it is. Something's in Canada. They sunk it in something. But then it turns out that this woman also is then they're picking up prostitutes and having sex with them, and they're all it's just this crazy. And as I'm reading it, because she's having 3-ways with prostitutes and 3-ways with these other girls, and then she actually takes care of the killing. He says, she says that she didn't. He says that she did. Blah blah blah. She said. He said. But as you're reading it, you're thinking to yourself, you know what? Other than the drugging the sister and offering her up for rape and killing everybody, this chick's like a pretty amazing girlfriend. Because she's willing to have 3-ways with all these strangers. She's willing to handle the killing and the cleanup afterwards. She's willing to have 3-ways with prostitutes and film it. I mean, she's like all into that. And look, we've all had the crazy chick, right? We've had, but I mean, none of us have had that crazy of a chick. But some guys are so stupid, like because we all follow our dick around, and because this chick was actually pretty cute. I mean, I saw the pictures of her. She's like hot. If she was hot and she was willing to kind of take care of the cleanup and the murder and all that, like in your brain, you're kind of like, well, this one's a keeper, right? I got to hang on to this one. If you're a psychopath like that dude, not a normal person. Look, a normal person's going to go, hey, this is kind of out of my league. I need to let this go. I think maybe if you're a normal person, you're dating that chick, and the first time she says, hey, why don't we put a bunch of Vicodin in my sister's spaghetti and rape her? Maybe you move on. Maybe you break it off at that point. You get your ring back, and you go, hey, I've had a lot of fun. We've certainly had some good times, but I think it's time for me to move on into my life. You find somebody else who really likes pasta and rape, preferably at the same time. That's fine. You go ahead and look for a guy who does that. I, myself, am going to move on. But if you're a psychopath and you stumble into that chick, you're like, I'm never letting this chick go ever. This is the greatest day of my life. Well, as long as she's got a sister. Let's put it that way. You got to be very specific, because if you're a psychopath who's obsessed with the flowering young girls, you've got to find the hot older sister to go ahead and procure them and certainly be able to cook the spaghetti. That's the thing. She was probably even a good cook. I'll bet the spaghetti was fucking delicious. I'll bet that spaghetti tasted so good that girl, you know what? Look, who among you has not had a big plate of pasta and then immediately wanted to go to sleep? All of us, right? Well, she just went ahead and made a big plate of pasta, and she put the Vicodin in there to go ahead and enhance that feeling for you. She's thinking of you. This woman is thinking of you, Karla Homolka, whatever the fuck her name is. But the bottom line is, she then turns on the guy once they capture it, and she starts giving all this information, and the guy's like, no, fuck, she was behind all of it. And they go, so in Canada, they give her a deal. So she flips on the guy, this Peter, whatever the fuck his name is, or whatever the fuck her husband's name is, who knows. But she flips, and she's going to turn state's evidence and all this kind of stuff. And so they sign a deal with her where she like avoids real prosecution. She's only going to like a Club Med jail for like a year. And then as the case proceeds, Canada, first of all, Canada, who the fuck do you think you are, all right? Canada put a clamp on any information coming out of this trial because they didn't want to sensationalize it. Fucking Canada, learn from us. Because if you would have learned from us, then right now fucking people are in a helicopter chasing Karla Homolka around while she's stirring a basket of spaghetti. A basket of spaghetti? Who the fuck makes a basket of spaghetti? Maybe, you know what? Maybe she wanted to go ahead and kill an entire 5th grade. She's like, hey, I got 80 Vicodins. I need to make a shitload of spaghetti. The only way for me to transport it to get these 5th graders is in a basket. So fucking A, I'm reading this goddamn story, and it was so brutal I had to say fucking A. Apparently, hold on, it's 1984. So she flips state's evidence on the guy, and then in the course of the case, because Canada shuts it down and all these dribs and drabs of information are coming out, finally it turns out they find, or also Canada, let's beef you a little bit more. They had all these search warrants, so they went through their house and they looked for everything, and they couldn't find anything in the house. They never found any real evidence or anything. So they were just kind of doing it on her word and trying to convict him and all this kind of stuff, and she was getting away scot-free. Eventually, again, I was having trouble figuring it out. It's Wikipedia, so it could be fake. But supposedly, the husband told his lawyer where to look in his house to find videotapes. which the cops have searched the house 4 different times and never found these videotapes. So this guy goes and he finds, because they, you know why? Because in Canada, again, you guys are too fucking polite. The story was they got a warrant, but it wasn't a warrant where they could destroy the house. Like, they had to do it nicely. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you people. Learn from us. Watch our reality shows. Cops show, literally, there's a guy who might have pot. They show up at his house with a battering ram and 19 dudes jump into his fucking grill. And they're looking around his goddamn house and they tear it apart. Kurt Russell's even there. He's doing a ride-along. That's how we do it in this country. We send cops and celebrities and we burst the fuck in with cameras. And it's literally like some poor guy with his wife on the couch going, we use bath salts for bath. No, you don't. You stored them. So we fucking take people apart, but in your country you have a polite warrant where they have to just what are you doing here? Did you have to clean the apartment before you left? Like, I don't fucking get it. You know what part of the warrant? She had to come and make spaghetti for everybody. That's So he tells the lawyer, again, I wish I had more names, but Karla Holumka, look it up. I don't know the husband's name because honestly, he didn't matter to me. I was reading about this chick because I was fascinated by her because, again, she was hot. And she was willing to go along with all this ride-along bullshit because she was under his Svengali spell until they find the videotapes. So what it is he tells his lawyer where to find the videotapes. The lawyer takes them, and he doesn't turn them over to the cops. He holds them for like 8 weeks or 8 months. I don't know. Again, the story got really hairy there. But he never turned it over to the police, and they went through with the case. And then finally it came out. He actually talked to his own lawyer. The lawyer went to his lawyer and said, hey, I got these tapes. And the guy's like, well, fuck, you got to give them up. And then it turns into a huge scandal. But again, it's Canada, so nobody fucking heard about it. Nobody has any idea what's going on up there. The only news coming out of there is hockey and snow. That's all we got coming out of Canada, really. They tell us about hockey, and then I guess your new prime minister is a cock. That's all I hear from you guys. You have a prime minister? Right, that's what they have, right? They have a king. You guys have a king. Do you have a king? I know you still, like, you're betrothed to the queen. That's true. Betrothed? Are they married? Yes. The entire nation of Canada is married to the queen. That's a crowded photo. So Karla Holumka is there, and they finally turn the tapes over, and they watch the tapes, and oh, guess what? Karla Holumka was a willing participant in all of the murders and all of the sex. Like, she was involved in all of it, but she's already signed this deal at this point, so they can't fucking rail her. So she gets away. She does like 1 year in jail, and then she gets out, and they were trying to figure out where she was going to live. She settled in Quebec because I guess the French language or something. And then I guess you have some paparazzi there because they found her at a bus stop once, and they started taking her pictures and asking her questions, and she wouldn't answer anything. But that was the only incident I heard of. And now she got pregnant, had a kid, and she moved to the Dutch Antilles, where she opened a pasta restaurant. But so go find her. Go to the Dutch Antilles, right? We can all do that. Let Casey Anthony alone. Let her think that everything's fine, and then we'll go take care of Karla Holumka, who deserves it at this fucking point. And because she's got a kid. Oh my God, I hope Karla Holumka does not have Google. Oh, that's not going to be good. Because if they find her Googling rigatoni, that kid is in danger. You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. And later, I couldn't believe my finger fit in there. Hello. I was knuckle deep in this chick. Well, I probably caught my breath by now. Let's get back to The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Before I spun off into sexual assault al dente, I was talking about Rupert Murdoch, and I don't think I ever finished that, did I? Again, I don't care. He's a horrible person, all right? He's a terrible, terrible man. But then they had that hearing yesterday. And first of all, Britain, where are you having your hearings? I mean, it looked like the conference room at a Night's Inn. I mean, it was like so, just like this really small, because we have them in those elaborate fucking, there's cherry wood and gavels and bullshit, and you just had a bunch of rumpled dudes yelling at an old guy in a fucking conference room of a Night's Inn. Brutal. But he was so awful. I mean, look, all right, I don't care for conspiracy theories and all that bullshit on the internet. I don't give a fuck about Kennedy. As far as I'm concerned, Kennedy had a heart attack before the bullet even hit him. All right, that's my conspiracy theory. I just don't care. And then Jack Ruby knew a guy, and who cares? No one cares. But inevitably, it's just like now, people will invent conspiracy theories out of anything. There was Sarah Palin's movie opened. Did you read the story about the guy? There was a guy, and a guy went to a screening in Orange County, and there was nobody in it. Like, it was at midnight on the same night Harry Potter opened, and there was nobody in it. I don't know why the theater thought anybody would come to see Sarah Palin at midnight the same time Harry Potter was on. Who cares? I don't know. But this guy went to try to write a story about it. Then he just he wrote an anecdotal story about how there was nobody there. And then he became he was attacked on the internet by people who were like, he made it up. It was never shown. It was all these different things. And then he actually proved it. He goes, look, here's the listing from the LA Times proving that it was there, 1201 at this theater, the block in the city of Orange. And it was there. And everybody said he made it up and he was in cahoots with the LA Times and they printed it up. Like, people will shape the truth to whatever the fuck they want to believe. But the problem is the media has done that to where people are looking for no filters. And so they make up their own news. I don't believe what the news people are saying. And I have to say, I kind of, that's fine. I can understand why people want to bypass the media because the media gives them this spoon-fed version. But the problem is when people are like, oh, the liberal media. No, there's no such fucking thing as the liberal media. There's no such thing as the conservative media. The entire media is fucked because all they care about is chasing stories and making stories. Chasing stories and fucking making stories. That's why they're following Casey Anthony lookalikes with the goddamn helicopter. That's why when the Rupert Murdoch hearing happened, okay? And I personally, again, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I personally think he tanked it. All right. I think he was acting like a befuddled old fool to look like the guy who doesn't have a clue, and then they'll let him get away with it. Because again, he's rich. Rich people get away with whatever the fuck they want in this country. He will, in any country, in England, in Australia. That guy's one of the richest people in the fucking world. He owns the media. That's the thing. He owns half the media. So he knows how to manipulate it, and he knows what he's going to do. So I think he went in there and just went, I'm going to look like a fucking goof and get away with it. Because he's the Chin. There was a fucking mobster named Vincent the Chin Gigante who fucking walked around in a robe and ate Fruit Loops out of a box in the middle of the street. And he was like, I'm crazy, duh. Well, you're not crazy. You're pretending to be fucking crazy so you can get away with it. It's like that old sketch on Saturday Night Live where fucking Phil Hartman was Reagan and he was acting like a doddering old fool and taking pictures with the Girl Scout cookies, and then the Girl Scouts would walk out and he goes, back to work! And he had all these fucking theories and he knew how to fix the world. That's what I think about Rupert Murdoch. He went in and he pretended like to be an old guy who was, infirm, and his son had to kind of help him up and they had to do all that. And, that was the narrative he wanted to portray, but they were asking him questions. He wasn't coming off good. And initially everybody's like, oh my God, Murdoch is not coming off good. But then he's kind of starting to win sympathy on Twitter from what I saw, because people are like, oh, he's just an old man. They really shouldn't, you can't really crucify him. You can't really go after him because maybe he really didn't know. He's so rich. Maybe he's detached. And then out of nowhere, some ass fuck tries to put a goddamn shaving cream pie in Murdoch's face. He comes up, Johnny Marbles was the fucking, I shouldn't even say his fucking name, but he comes out of nowhere. He's sitting there and he Twittered it too. He Twittered what he was about to do. He stands up and he's going to put shaving cream in Rupert Murdoch's face, and he gets tackled, and then the wife springs off the fucking chair like a goddamn ninja. How amazing was that? For years, everybody's like, why is Murdoch married to this Asian woman? She's why? That's why. She's been waiting for this moment. He's married to Lucy Liu from fucking Kill Bill. It's O-Ren Ishii. She sprang off the fucking chair and landed a right hand on Johnny Marbles right in the face. Think about that, folks. How horrible is that? This story was going to get to the bottom of phone tapping and murder cases and graft and corrupt in the media. And what happens? Literally the headline, all I read the rest of the day and the next day, Murdoch's wife saves him from pie-throwing comedian. I'm like, that was it. That was the narrative they wanted to have, was that he was a victim, and he was a victim. Murdoch attacked in court. That was the headline that I fucking saw. I'm like, dude, he got away with it. He acted like a buffoon, and then some fucking third-rate comic tried to hit him with shaving cream, and that was it. Nobody cares anymore. Everybody's like, oh my God, I can't. Do you remember? Did you see the shaving cream pie? And the wife was hilarious. All these fake Twitter accounts happened, and the wife, even I'm making fun of her, for Christ's sake, because that was the narrative that came out of it. Nobody gave a fuck about Murdoch or his answers or anything like it, because we've all seen committee meetings, and none of us care. Every time we see a committee meeting, nothing is revealed, nothing happens. They all, inevitably, they have a committee meeting, and the next thing you know, they're trying to convict Roger Clemens of steroids, and he gets set free. Nothing ever happens in committee. I should take a breath. I'm just astonished by it because, again, he came in and his narrative was, I'm a victim. I don't know. No one knows. These guys were doing it without my thing. And sure enough, Johnny fucking Marbles makes him a victim and changes the whole thing right before our very eyes. So then the story is less about getting to the bottom of Murdoch and the evilness of News Corp, and more about his crazy wife flying up like a ninja in her fucking pink outfit and slapping a comedian in the face. Jesus Christ. He couldn't have written it any better. And that's why my friend BJ Porter twittered, gee, I wonder how much Rupert Murdoch paid that guy to hit him with the pie. It's like, yeah, exactly. How much? I mean, because Johnny Marbles, again, he's a wannabe comedian. He wants to be famous. So sure enough, he knew he was going to get his name in the news. And maybe he took fucking 10 grand to do it. Who the fuck knows? And again, I just said I don't want to be a conspiracy theory guy. And all I'm doing now is giving you fucking conspiracy theories and peddling it to you. But just didn't it seem too perfect? And I know whenever anything seems too perfect, everybody goes to the conspiracy theory. Fuck. God. Ugh. It's falling apart, folks. It's all falling apart. We're watching it happen, right? There can't be a year 5 of this show because there won't be an internet. The internet's going to get shut down. Computers are going to be outlawed. None of that's going to happen. Oh, that's all we're going to have is computers. This is the only way you're going to talk to people is via podcast. Look at the way they're exponential. Literally, there's so many podcasts and they're happening more and more each day. The only way humans are going to communicate in the next year is going to be podcast. That's why. So year 5, I have to do it. It's the only way I'll be able to talk to my wife and friends. Because I certainly won't have a phone. I won't have any of that. And print is dead. We all know that. Unless I want to write a book that you're going to read on your Kindle, that's not fucking happening. Please write a book. People are like that. They're like, hey, your year 4 project should be writing a book. I'm like, yeah, sure it should. Because print is not dead. I could write an ebook, but then again, it would be I can't even get people to buy tickets to come see me live. I'm going to write a fucking ebook and have it fucking sit on the shelves. Literally, if I wrote an ebook, it would be the first one that ever collected dust. You would download it and dust would come out of your computer speaker because no one had bought it. You would be the only person who ever purchased it. Oh, Christ. I have no idea why tweakedaudio.com/40 wants to be associated with the show anymore, quite frankly. Certainly through this year. I understand. You know why? Because they're sponsoring every podcast in the universe. Because they see where it's going. Everyone's going to have a podcast. So tweakedaudio.com/40 and Bruce, they're like, we got to get our fucking clutches in early. So now every time a new podcast comes up, it's sponsored by tweakedaudio.com/40. And sure enough, there it goes. We all get a cut. As I mentioned, there's a big meeting. Podcasters meeting. We all get together and divvy up our cash. And it's not even cash. I get paid in cock ring watches. I mentioned writing a book. I can't. All right, I might have news on that front later. I'll tell you that later. No one cares. Oh, Christ. I've done nothing. I've done nothing this past week, folk. I apologize. Folk? There's one guy listening. And I call him a folk. Hey, folk. I haven't been to a movie. This was going to be my summer of returning to the movies, but then everything fell apart. Like I didn't see X-Men, which I wanted to see. Thor was so bad. I'll see Captain America. That's this weekend, right? I have to see that. And I got to see Cowboys and Aliens. Those are summer movies. Yeah. Super 8 was great and then disappeared. Nobody cared about it. Transformers made a ton of money. Harry Potter made a shitload of money. Jesus Christ. I have not seen Harry Potter. I didn't read the books. I don't know anything about it. I'm not saying it's dumb or bad. It's my fault because I thought it would be for kids, and so I didn't get on the train. And it's like with The Wire. I haven't seen The Wire. I'm an idiot. I wanted to see it. I've not seen The British Office. I'm an idiot. I wanted to see it, but for some reason I just didn't. And then all of a sudden it passed me by, and now I sit and stare and do nothing. I dream of going to the movies again once in my life. I watch trailers. That's what I do because I love trailers, but they give away too much in the trailer. And now that was the thing is the Batman trailer, the Dark Knight trailer came out, and they said it was going to be attached to Harry Potter. And I'm like, fuck, really? Why? I mean, I did that when I was a kid. I told you when I was a kid, I paid to see Pumpkinhead like 5 times one week just so I could see the Batman trailer, the Michael Keaton Batman trailer. I actually paid to see Pumpkinhead, I think 5 times because I would watch it before the movie, and then I'd watch Pumpkinhead. And then after Pumpkinhead, I would wait, and then I would watch it at the next showing of Pumpkinhead. I would watch the trailer for Batman, and then I would leave because I knew the guys at the theater in Tahoe. But it was just to see Batman talking on screen, just to see Batman in a suit and talking. I paid to see Pumpkinhead 5 different times. And look, I like Lance Henriksen, but come on. Pumpkinhead 5 times? That seems high. Pumpkinhead once seems high. But it wasn't bad. Check it out if you want. Actually, at this point, by the 5th time, I was like Rocky Horror with Pumpkinhead. Literally, I could say every line. I'm throwing pumpkins at the screen. I knew everything. He's just a big pumpkinhead from Pumpkinheadia. All right. Yeah, I'm dumb. So, but I love trailers. So the Dark Knight trailer was, I can't pay to see here because now movies are different. Like back then, I had nothing but disposable fucking income and time to see Pumpkinhead 5 times in a week. Because if I wasn't doing that, I was stealing movie posters from that same theater. That was the thing that was so crazy. They never knew it was us. Like we were there all the time. We knew the guys at the movie theater, but then we would go under the dark of night and steal first-run movie posters. We would break open the case and take them and drive off. And then go the next day and be like, oh man, somebody stole the poster. No way. Meanwhile, our house is covered head to toe in fucking posters. Why? We didn't even need them because our kitchen was covered in Hustler centerfolds in Tahoe. But then the living room and stuff was covered in movie posters because we were very cool and smart. But now I didn't want to pay to see, because again, back then I had nothing but time and money, but now fucking Harry Potter, I had to pay $19 to see the trailer for Dark Knight. And so I can't do it. Pissed off. I was trying to trick me, bastards. And then that trailer came out, and then I saw the trailer for, did you see the trailer for Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man? Look, folks, I don't give a shit about the new Spider-Man. Okay, I love Spider-Man. I liked Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3 was an abomination. I think we can all agree on that. It was fucking horrible. And that's why they cleaned house. No, it isn't why they cleaned house. You know, Sam Raimi was thinking about doing a next one, and they came up with all these stupid ideas. Go research it, folks. They were actually going to create. When Sam Raimi was going to do a movie, he wanted to have the Vulture, and he was going to have Ben Kingsley. And they're like, "Hey, we want Anne Hathaway to be in this movie, so we want her to do the Black Cat." He's like, "Look, the last movie had too many villains in it, and had way too much storyline. You guys crammed too much in there." And they're like, "Oh, that's fine. You know what? Here's a better idea. What if we invent a character called the Vultress? Anne Hathaway will be the Vulture's apprentice. She's like the Vultress, and she gets to fly around with him." And he's like, "I'm leaving." Sam Raimi's like, "I'm gone." And then I'm sure he closed the door, and they all looked around and went, "Phew, thank God he's gone. We can do this over the way we want to do it." So now they've made a Spider-Man where everything I read about it makes it sound like he's going to be fucking Teen Wolf, because Peter Parker apparently plays basketball, I guess, when he gets his spider powers, and I guess maybe he's going to dunk. I have no fucking idea. This is all anecdotal, all right? This is all third hand, but it reinforced the fact that I do not want to see the new Spider-Man. Until I saw the trailer. And in the trailer, again, look, we all know the story. He's Peter Parker, he's kind of nerdy, and then he goes in and he gets bitten by a spider, and he turns into a Spider-Man. That was a verbal hyphen, folks. Did you like that? So he goes ahead and then he fights crime. But dude, if you see this trailer, all right, there's a Gwen Stacy, and then there's Flash Thompson, and then there's Kurt Connors, and you're like, all right, well, you're all familiar with these stories. The villain's going to be the Lizard. That's fine. They don't show the Lizard in the trailer, which they shouldn't. But you know what they do show, folks? Unbelievably, in the trailer for Spider-Man, they show the origin, the spider. He gets bit, and then he's worried about what he's going to be, and there's a bite mark. But then they show first-person point of view swinging around New York as if you were Spider-Man. Literally, you go running off of a building and jump, and you see the ground coming, and then you leap to another building, and then you shoot webs and you swing all over the city. First-person point of view, you're watching it while there's a voiceover narrative and music, and then the last shot is reminiscent of the last trailer, the last poster that they had for Spider-Man 2, where he was looking at himself in the mirror. You see him, he shoots the web, and he swings toward a skyscraper, and all you see is you're Spider-Man. You see yourself swinging toward the building, and you land on the building, and then it goes to the credits. And I have goosebumps now telling you about it, folks, because I'm a fucking child. I'm 44 years old in a week. And they hooked me. They were like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I got to see fucking Spider-Man, even though I know what happens. I've seen the origin story now 8 different times. I read it in the books. I've seen it in cartoons. I know all about how Spider-Man became Spider-Man. We get it. A spider bit him, and now he's a Spider-Man. All right, I get that. But then in the trailer, they had the fucking point of view swinging, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm in. I gotta watch it, even though that's the kind of shit that makes me sick on the big screen, because I have a fucking inner ear thing, because I'm a lady. So, I've told you that a million times. Whenever I see that handheld shaky fucking camera, I have to look away. I can't watch the goddamn screen. So when Spider-Man's swinging all over the place, that's the thing I'm not going to be able to watch. But I'll hear the exciting music. I'll be like, oh, I wish I was Spider-Man listening, but instead I'm an old man with my eyes closed because I'm scared. But I watched that trailer. I watched the Batman trailer. So it's like now I'm gaked up for all these fucking movies. Although the Dark Knight trailer was kind of, you only get a couple of glimpses of Bane, but there's a great picture of Batman backing up and he's going to fight Bane, and it looks like a real fucking fight. It's genius. It's not just hero bullshit. Like Batman's in his Batman suit and he's backing up, and you see Bane like hulking up over a hill like he's going to fight him, and Batman's kind of getting loose like he's about to fucking jam on him. God damn it, it was a great shot. That alone was worth it. That alone was better than any movie that comes out this goddamn summer. But then they got, like, Commissioner Gordon is like laying in a bed and he's talking, and you don't really understand what he's saying. Whatever, who cares? But so I keep watching these trailers, and then, dude, all right. Dark Knight and Spider-Man, they don't count. All right, they're fucking amazing trailers. I was predisposed to like them anyway. They're fantastic. But here's the best trailer and the worst trailer that you can watch right now. Should I go best first and then worst second? I don't know. Yeah, I'll go best first. All right, here's the best trailer. Dudes, literally, I spent probably an hour watching the trailer for Killer Elite because it's perfect. And I will tell you this. Look, the movie, the dialogue is horrible. I mean, it's horrendous. When you watch, the dialogue could have been written by a cat walking across a keyboard, which I've said many times, but it's that every cliche in the world is in this fucking trailer, but it doesn't matter because it's got Clive Owen and Jason Statham. And you're like, well, that's pretty awesome. Clive Owen and Jason Statham. It couldn't get much more awesome than that. Guess who else is in it, folks? Guess who else? Robert fucking De Niro. That's right. Robert De Niro is in it. And I'm going to tell you all about this trailer. So, like, you'll want to go see it when I'm done talking about it, even though then you're going to go, fuck, he told us every fucking moment of the goddamn trailer. But I don't care. I saw the trailer for this movie, Killer Elite, and it starts out, Jason Statham's tied to a chair. All right. And Clive Owen is standing over him with the worst. Look, I like Clive Owen. Shave that mustache. I understand you're the cheesy villain or whatever the fuck you got to do, but god damn it. It horrible. Just this horrible Dirty Sanchez. Like, he might be named Dirty Sanchez. That's how bad the fucking mustache is. So Jason Statham's tied to a chair, and he says something about, you and I, we're in the same boat. And then Clive Owen goes, really? And he pulls out a gun and he goes, you're tied to a chair, and I've got a gun in my hand. And again, tough guy, Cockney fucking talking, but they're dressed nice. And then Statham says something like the battle's not over till the war's not over till the battle is won, or some bullshit. And again, cliche garbage. And then it's like this weird music is like revving up, and then Statham somehow does a leg sweep. Like, he's tied to a chair, but he leg sweeps Clive Owen with the legs of the chair, and then he's kicking Clive Owen's ass while he's tied to a chair. All right, he's beating the shit out of him. The gun goes flying. Clive Owen's getting his ass kicked, and there's a big, like, kind of like almost like a parkour looking fight, except they're not bouncing off walls, they're bouncing off each other. And then Statham, over a fallen Clive Owen, does a front flip in the chair. He's still tied to the chair, does a standing front flip, and lands with the chair on top of Clive Owen's head and smashes him into the ground, and then stands up, and Clive Owen gets up and tries to get to the gun, and Jason Statham, still tied to a chair, mind you, runs at top speed across this loft, one of those lofts where you bring a kidnapped guy and tie him to a chair. That's the only reason these lofts exist. They exist for you to be a like Basquiat type painter in New York who's going to try to impress girls, or you take a villain there or a hero and you tie him to a chair and you try to get him to give you information. That's the only reason lofts like these exist. So Statham flips the chair, lands, he gets up, he's still tied to a chair, all right? Tied to a fucking chair, he sprints, dead sprint as fast as he can toward the window. Clive Owen grabs his gun and tries to shoot Statham. Statham plunges head first, mind you, he's bald. Not protecting his face in any way whatsoever. He jumps out of the window. He fucking flies. Then you go to the outside shot. He's on like the third floor. He goes smashing out of the window, still tied to a chair, mind you, plummeting to the ground. And then the music hits, and then it goes to a dark screen and the words, based on a true story. Yeah! Oh, that has got to be the truest of all true stories you've ever seen in your life, right? Even the mustache was not true in that fucking clip. You got to be shitting me, based on a true story. The only true thing about that entire true story is that you've already got my $15. Because I am truly going to see that fucking movie based on a true fucking story. He beats the guy up tied to a chair, hits him with the chair, jumps out of a third floor window, and then exists for the rest of the movie, I guess? Yeah, that's a true fucking story. Oh, the balls to even put up those words. That has to be a joke. Like, it can't even really be based on a true story. If I was the director, I would just put that up there. Based on a true story. You know, they're sitting there, they're cutting the trailer, they're watching it, they're like, oh, we got to put the Statham and Owen, the chair fight, right? That's going to lure people in because people love Statham, they love Clive. We'll go in there, they'll laugh at the mustache, but that's okay, he's got to wear it. And finally, they're cutting the trailer, and he went, dude, you know what would put this over the top? If we put in based on a true story. They high-fived. God damn it, there's no way that's a true story. Holy shit, hilarious. But then the best part, again, it's just one of those trailers. Look, I saw a movie with Clive Owen called Shoot 'Em Up. All right? I told you guys about it. I told you how great it was going to be, and then nobody went and saw it. Now, look, I'm not a kingmaker. All right? I don't have my finger on the pulse of society to tell them what they're going to like and what they're not going to like. Fuck, I haven't paid one dime to see this wizard that apparently all of you are in love with and have been for 8 fucking movies. 8 movies! 8 goddamn movies! Are you shitting me? I haven't seen 8 movies in 2 years. They made 8 movies about that kid. And again, I understand he's great. Everybody tells me he's fantastic. Karen's read the books. She's read like 3 of the books. She loves them. For me, and Karen saw the movies too. I fell behind. And because I haven't seen them from the beginning, I don't want to just jump in. Because you don't want, the last thing you want, there've been 8 movies. You think I'm going to pay to see number 8? And I'm going to sit there and go, who's this idiot without a nose? Shh! What is Slytherin and Gryffindor? Shh! Who the fuck is Quidditch? Shh! People will fucking hate me. Every fucking 35-year-old guy in a cloak will pull up his fucking wizard wand and stand in front of me and wave it with their quiet spell. I can't fucking take that risk. I can't be shut up for good by an army of fucking nerds. That's not going to happen. And they're not nerds. It made $800 billion. I understand I'm the nerd for not seeing it. I totally understand that. I'm the guy who's on the outside. But I can't take the risk of getting a spell of silence fucking spell put on me. I don't have the cloak of invisibility to ward it off, and my hit points are low. I used to play D&D. That's right. I played D&D as a kid, which means I would love Harry Potter. I'm sure it means I would fucking love it because I love Lord of the Rings. I love all that kind of stuff, and I probably should have seen Harry Potter, but I just didn't. I thought it was for kids. It's my fault. But I played D&D as a kid. Oh, those were fun nights under a black light, rolling a 20-sided die, trying to be an orc. I was actually a cleric. I like being a cleric. All right, nobody cares. All right, because I was 13. Again, I did it for we would go to my buddy Scott Rabb's house. All right, we would go over there. Scott was all right. We used to live next door to this woman named Carol. All right, Carol Rabb and her husband Mike Rabb, and then their kids Scott and Steve and Mo. Well, they were like, yes, Mo. Well, they lived next door to us, and then they wound up moving to New Lenox. We lived in Romeoville. They wound up moving and getting a house, and that house had an in-the-ground pool. So we would go over there for cookouts all the time, and we would go hang out, and then at night we would be hanging out with Scott in his room. We'd be me, my brother Lenny. My little brothers, Glenn, Andy, and Scott would hang out with Steve and Mo, and they would do their, but they had like a fun house. They had downstairs, they had a pool table and a Plinko game and all sorts of kind of shit. Not Plinko like Price is Right. No, that's not right. Plinko's that's the one where they dropped the disc, right? No, they did not have a giant Plinko game at the Scott Rabb house. I apologize. What they had pachinko. That is it's like a Chinese pinball machine. I don't know what the fuck it is. But they had that and pool and, it was awesome. It was just this thing where the kids ruled the basement and the adults were upstairs drinking and getting high. So we would play Dungeons and Dragons. And I told you, that's where we listened to 2112 and we broke down the lyrics. Again, we weren't getting high. Maybe we had a contact buzz through the vents. I have no idea. But literally we'd sit in the dark and we'd listen to Rush and we would decode the lyrics and write them down. And when you do that now, I listen to Rush now and I'm just fascinated by how fucking genius it is. It's like I understand. Look, if you have a vagina, you're not going to like Rush. I get that. That's fine. But anybody with a cock likes Rush. That's the way it works. And you sit there and you listen to how complex it is. Don't make a face. You don't like Rush. You lie. You could name 5 Rush songs.
Tom Warrior, of course.
Tom Warrior certainly is one of the best Rush songs.
I know them.
I'm sure you do.
I have 3 CDs. I can get the CDs. I can't. But I can't remember ladder versus chandelier when I'm trying to remember words.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You mix up ladder and chandelier?
Yeah, because you have to climb a ladder to change the bulbs in the chandelier. So.
Wait, do you need a mnemonic to do things in your house?
No, I have brain damage.
Yes, apparently.
And so I'll look at something and I'll go, oh, that's a really beautiful ladder. Because in my head, I think you would change the light with a ladder in the chandelier, and the word ladder comes out instead of chandelier.
Jesus Christ!
It's horrible.
All right, so you have 3 Rush CDs.
I have 3 Rush CDs.
And you definitely have the one with Tom Warrior on it.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Not Tom Warrior.
No, that's what you said.
Sawyer.
Oh no, you knew. You said it was Tom Warrior. I was.
Warrior, Tom Sawyer.
Yes.
So I got it.
Your whole life is a mnemonic.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh my Christ, you have problems. No wonder you sit here.
brain.
No wonder you sit. No wonder you think I'm funny. Honestly, you forget from joke to joke. Like you forget from word to word. You're like, that's who you are. You're constantly reliving me. That's, oh my God. You're like, you only think I'm funny once. You just laugh 100 times at the one thing. Oh my God, that's awful, folks. I thought I had somebody who enjoyed me. Instead, I got somebody with brain damage. She just admitted. She's like, I have brain damage. I mix up words like comedian and friend.
No.
All right. Well, the fuck was I talking about?
Tom Sawyer.
Rush.
Writing down Rush lyrics.
Dude, we used to sit in Scott's basement, and then the best part was like then the adults are out at the pool doing whatever the adults do in the fucking pool. Oh Christ, oh. All right, we'd be in the pool all day, and you'd just be so wiped out. And then you'd swim for like 3 hours, then you'd go eat a hamburger and a hot dog, and you'd go back into the fucking pool, and then at night you'd decode Rush lyrics because you were wiped out from being in the pool all the time. One time, we used to go over there. It was always just Scott and Steve and Mo and us because there was 5 of us and 3 of them. So it was more than enough kids in the house. Well, one time Scott had been in New Lenox long enough to make friends. So he, oh Christ. So he had a party. He decided to have kids over to swim late at night. And so we were all out there. And this has got to be, this is 1980 maybe? I was 13? Yeah, I was 13. So we're all over at Scott's house, and he's in high school. He's Lenny's age. He's a little older, and so he had people over to swim, and he had girls over to swim. Now, again, as I mentioned to you, we used to just go over there and play pachinko all night and decode Rush lyrics and hang out and play D&D. Well, now all of a sudden I show up and there's bikinis. Like there's like actual girls there. And I'm 13, so I'm starting to realize, hey, I'm a fan of girls. Which, by the way, I'd been a fan of girls since I was like 11, but didn't you know what I mean? Didn't know what to, like, that I had any chance of doing that. You know what I mean? I got like, you get your first kid, whatever, who cares? No one cares. So we,
There's a Rush song about that.
Sure there is. It's funny. All right, never mind. I've diverted far too many times. So we go to Scott's, and there's bikinis and girls, and we're swimming at night. It's nighttime, and it gets to be super nighttime. My mom's high, and Carol's high, and they're drinking, and they're all in the house. So somehow it comes up as we're there. Everybody's like, "Hey, let's skinny dip." Okay. Now I'm 13. All right, I'm a fat little 13-year-old guy. And I'm scared out of my mind. Like I've never been. I don't know what to do with a naked girl. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to even see them. What's going to happen? Am I going to fucking hard on? It's weird. It's just weird, the whole idea. But it doesn't matter because like it was the girls who suggested it. So how can you? No, I don't think so, ma'am. Keep your clothes on. No, fuck that. You got to do it. So, but I remember being scared out of my fucking mind. And of course, it becomes that thing where the girls are like, we should skinny dip, and the guys are like, all right, let's go. And they're like, well, you first. No, you first. All that stupid bullshit. And there were two girls who got out of the pool and they just took their bikinis off. Like they not in the water. They made a big show out of it. Like they got out on the side of the road and they took their bikini. They were naked. They were just, and I mean, I'm 13. There's naked fucking 14-year-old girls. You're just like, what the? And they had breasts. And up to that point, the only tit I'd ever seen really was, unfortunately, we had been swimming at a community pool when I was in 8th grade. And it was me and Mark Pruitt. And there was a girl named Dana Pape. And we were talking to her, but I don't even know why it came up because Mark and I were joking around, and I pulled her bikini top off. Like I just pulled the strap down and her entire breast. I'll never forget the look of it. Seeing it in the pool, her pink nipple and her breast just came out. And she's in 8th grade with us. And she fucking tagged me. Oh my God, she hit me so fucking hard. Like it was the craziest slap punch. Like and I can still like I saw Tweety birds. Like I was like, because I didn't expect it. She just fucking jacked me. And but it didn't matter because Mark Pruitt and Ron Dagonia were laughing their fucking asses off. And we were like, hilarious. Wham! I get fucking knocked into the water. Huge red handprint on my fucking face. So to see these girls just willingly take their clothes off, it was crazy. So then, of course, Lenny and Scott, my brother Lenny and Scott Rabb, they're like, yes! They get out and they take their fucking trunks off because they're all these kids are older, like 15. And I'm 13, so I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to measure up. I don't know what's going to happen. So I in the water, I took my trunks off and I threw them, as close as I could. I'd like literally by the edge so I could get them in a panic, in an emergency. And then these other guys took their clothes off, and then there was one girl who wouldn't take her clothes off. So there's like 8 of us swimming. So, but they're diving in, and it's like, you're trying not to stare. You're trying to be cool. That's the whole point is it's, they're cool with it. And they're just like, what? So what, man? We're just like, we're skinny dipping. We're having fun. But in your mind, all I can think about is like, I'm naked. I'm looking at these naked girls and I'm not used to it. I don't know how to process my feelings. And the only thought flashing through my head is I'm like, we need more spaghetti. That sounds terrible. Sorry. Oh, we need more spaghetti. So then it becomes this like this huge game of kind of like, people they're running around the pool and chasing each other, and everybody's kind of sprinting around and they're diving, and everybody's diving and balls are flying, and it's this crazy thing. And I literally won't move. Like I'm in the water. I don't want to get out. So then finally I get brave once and I get out of the water, but I'm still kind of like hesitant, and I dive off the diving board, but nobody notices me. That's the thing is you think because you're naked, everybody's staring at you and everybody's like, oh my God, they're judging you, and they're thinking, no, I'm just this little butterball guy who's there, and the rest of them are all, and besides, everybody's looking at the chicks, all right? Honestly, all we're looking at is the naked girls. So he has a diving board and he has a slide. Scott Rabb has a slide, like a twisty slide where you slide off and you go into the water. So everybody starts going off the slide, wee, and then the girls are going off the slide, and you're watching them, and they come shooting off, and that's a pretty good angle because then their legs are akimbo, and you get a full shot between their legs as they come down the slide. I mean, when you're 13, you're looking for every single fucking angle. So So then it turns into like a game of grab ass where everybody's kind of like dunking each other and they're getting, as teenagers will do. Look, you can only be naked together for so long before everybody starts to think, hey, wouldn't this be cool if we started touching one another? So, so it turns into naked chicken fights. And this girl just comes over to me and just climbs on my shoulders naked. Like she's naked on to chicken fight because I was taller than Scott was tall and I was tall. And Scott was like, let's go, Mike, come on. And this girl climbed on my shoulders naked. And I'm holding her thighs and we go over to chicken fight. And in my head, again, it's that boy thing where you're like, I'm winning this fucking chicken fight. I don't care if I have to cut Scott's fucking hamstrings. I'm winning to prove my manliness to everybody here at the pool. So we get close and the girls are chicken fighting and I'm looking at the naked girl on Scott's shoulders and he's looking at the naked girl on my shoulders and we make eye contact at one point and just kind of like, yeah, this is happening. We're in the pool with naked chicks. So they're chicken fighting. Everybody's dunking one another and they're grabbing one another and then people are sliding down the slide and we're going over by the slide. And what it is we'll be at the end of the slide with our face on the slide as the girl slides down and then you duck out real quick. So you're watching them and it's like, but you're getting close, that sort of thing. And then you're putting your hand up as they slide by and you move your hand real fast. And the thing I can remember most about it was, it's all of us, we're all kids, we're all having a good time. But the second the clothes came off and we all started kind of running around and it's under the, because we usually, we swam during the day. And when we would swim during the day, it would be my little brothers and they're Marco Polo and, you're throwing the beach ball around and you could smell the grill and there's adults there. But at night swimming, which is something we usually didn't do because the adults had the pool. So now we're night swimming, and there are girls there. And I'd been coming there since I was like 11 or 12 years old. Every year I'm there 4 times a year swimming, and it was very much a kid's destination, a kid's day off. Well, now I'm 13, and my brother is 14 or 15. I'm sorry, 15. Scott's 15. These girls are 15. They're older, and now we're night swimming, and we're naked, and I remember feeling very adult about the whole situation. I was no longer a kid. You know what I mean? As scared as I was, as nervous as I was, all of a sudden, oh, fuck this. We're grown-ups. Hey, we should drink and smoke. What the fuck should we do? This is fantastic. We're all naked in the pool. It's dark outside. We're grown-ups. This is great. And the only thing I can relate it to is if the first time you drove, you know what I mean? When you got into a car and you actually had freedom and you drove away from your house, because that's what it felt like, freedom. So, we're all jumping around. Everybody's naked, but we're still kids, even though we're pretending we're adults. So there's a lot of nudity and a lot of physical activity happening. And like I said, we'd go over to the slide and we'd put our hand up and you'd duck out real fast. So Scott calls me over. He's like, dude, come on over. He didn't say dude. It was 1980. So he said 79, whatever. And he's like, hey, Mike, come on over. So I go over and there's girls about to go down the slide. So we're gonna put our face there and duck, and then they're gonna slide over us. That's the whole thing. And you look up and you see their ass. It's awesome. 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 So, just amazing. So, just the very fact that they're naked and they're there and they're talking to us. I'm talking to naked chicks. There was one on my shoulders, for Christ's sake. Oh my God, my neck. So, he calls me over. He's like, hey, we put our face up. This girl slides. We duck down. You watch her ass go by. Oh, awesome. And then this next girl, she's climbing the ladder. And we're watching her climb the ladder because, again, that's a great angle. And Scott goes, we put our hands up. And Scott goes, don't move your hand. And I said, what? He goes, don't move your hand this time. Don't move your hand. It's going to be hilarious. I'm like, all right. So I put my left hand up and he puts his right hand up and we're alongside. And this girl, and she was, again, I don't know how cute they were. It was a naked teenage girl. How cute are they? So cute. It's like when you go to the pet store and you see puppies or like naked moles or something like that. You know what I mean? Like little animals that are just born. Oh, that's what she looked like. This little colt who's going to slide down the slide. And look, I'm not disgusting now. If I'm doing it, if I'm 44 and I'm in the pool with a bunch of 15-year-old naked chicks, then hate me, okay? But I'm relating to the time when I was 13 and going unbelievably awesome. I couldn't believe how great it was. So I put my left hand up. Scott puts his right hand up, and this girl goes to go down the slide, and everybody's laughing. We're giggling. We're having a good time. And Scott's like, remember, don't move your hand. I said, okay. So she goes to slide down the slide. Again, it's not a giant slide, but she goes through a couple of twisty turns, and she gets near the bottom. And right as she gets to the bottom, Scott ducks and moves his hand. And I don't move my hand. Because I was doing what Scott said to do because we were all having a good time. And that's what you do. You go along with your buddies, right? We're going to play a prank on this girl. It's going to be hilarious. Ha ha. Yeah, it's going to be hilarious until Scott ducks and moves out of the way, and because he knows the girl, all right? He knows this chick. There are all these new Lennox chicks, and they're naked. He goes to school with them. They don't know the fuck I am. I'm this fat guy who just, showed up from another town. Well, I keep my hand up. This girl continues to slide. My hand is there, and instinctively, I kept my hand up and I kept it braced. All right, I didn't just have my hand up because I knew she was going to slide into my hand and she would break the fuck out of my hand if I let it just limp, and she might snap my elbow. So I figured the two of us are going to grab her and hold her up. It's going to be great. Well, I got my left hand up. She slides down. I brace for her. Scott ducks and moves. My hand is right there, and she slides right into my hand. And have you ever seen a cartoon where someone is skiing and then they fall and then they smash into the tree between their legs and they come to a dead fucking stop? This chick came to a dead fucking stop on my hand. Naked, mind you, legs akimbo. My hand went places that my hand had never been. Certainly not with this girl from New Lenox. And she stopped dead on my hand. My hand hit every soft part of her undercarriage, okay? Now, there wasn't full penetration, okay? But I had a handful of everything else that you could possibly imagine. Anything that was on the outside, I was very familiar with at that point. Palming her like a basketball. And I was holding her up. She stopped on the slide. So I didn't, like I said, there was no penetration. So I don't think I took her virginity. But I'm pretty sure that at least 10 states, she and my hand were married. And I mean, stopped dead, smack. You actually heard like the plop, like the smack noise. And my hand went up in all over her junk. I mean, everywhere. And then she kind of stopped and then just did that thing where she dribbled and flipped over and kind of fell into the water. And she went underwater, and I'm sitting there with my hand still up on the slide, and I pull it aside. And now I wonder if she's all right, because I'm weirded out. And she pops out of the water, and she just goes, "You asshole!" And she smacks me. She made Dana Pape look like a fucking jab. I mean, she fucking smacked me as hard as she could across the face. And again, same thing. Bells ringing. My eyes. I got that weird like shiny light in my eyes. And I've still got my hand up like the claw, like I'm fucking Carrie Von Erich. Literally. I'm still holding my hand up like I don't know if I want a high five or it's just frozen in time. I don't know what the fuck to do with it. All I know is it's got DNA out of it and it's all over it. And if the cops come, I'm fucked. And she hits me and she goes, "We got to go." And she swims over and she climbs up the ladder and they start putting their clothes on. Again, you know what it was? She immediately felt naked. Honestly, because she hadn't been naked up to that point. We were all just having a good time and kind of jumping on one another. Everything was, dude, this same girl had climbed on my back to do chicken fights. So I was my neck was married to her, boy, before my hand was. But she swims off, and I think really it was violation. There's no doubt about it, because they had been touched now in a way that she didn't want to be touched. Like, because when she was controlling it, everything was fine when you were late. But now the fact that it had become aggressive, even though I didn't mean it to be, immediately she swam over, and her friend gave her a bikini. They started to get dressed. They went to get their clothes, and immediately all the guys turned to me and they're like, "Oh, way to go, Mike! You fucked it up for everybody." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I look at Scott and I go, "Scott, you told me not to move my hand." He goes, "Dude, you fucked it up for everybody." Oh, you're gonna sell me out like that? And it was so funny because we had been so adult and having a swingers party. Everybody was naked, having a good time. And the second she slid into my hand, we became kids again. All of the adult veneer had been stripped away, and we were just asshole teenagers fucking around and pretending to be big grown-ups. So they got dressed, we got dressed, and we're sitting there, and everybody's like, "Oh, I can't believe you fucking did that." I go, "Dude, Scott told me to do it." Like, I'm trying. And also, they were a little older. They were 15. I was 13, so I was starting to feel, I felt vulnerable anyway because I was naked. It was just fucking weird. And sure enough, then everybody left, and we went downstairs to listen to Rush. And as ashamed as I was, as terrible as it was, as much as we went from being, we're in the room and they got the black light on and we're playing D&D and we're listening to Rush and, but it was still in the air that we had been adults for a while. Remember, every once in a while we'd look at one another and you'd go, "Oh man, that was pretty fucking cool, right? Wasn't that great?" Because there were naked chicks in our house like 20 minutes earlier. And now we're playing D&D and listening to fucking Rush. But the only thing was, out of all of them, literally, we could be down there and it was just like every other night. Except I had my left hand. I had my left hand to remind me of what it was like to be an adult. And we would sit there and we'd play D&D, and I was very careful not to touch anything with my left hand. I would roll the dice with my die, the 20-sided die with my right hand, because I was right-handed anyway, so I was used to doing things right-handed, but literally my left hand was mine. I wasn't going to share it with anybody. Because we were down in a dank basement, and it's like, everybody's playing Rush, and, we're playing D&D, and we're hanging out, and every once in a while, I would touch my face. And it would smell like chlorine in my future. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at 2 different Twitter accounts. Lily Von Stupp, that's Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp and Twitter.com/MNTs. And you can be her friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you want to write her a personal note and ask her about all the cheerleading she did to me about doing a good show versus a long show today, go ahead and write her at Lily at Burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at Burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40-year-old-boy. Please buy all his stuff.
I want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Tease. Every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, 10 o'clock p.m. is showtime for that show. This particular week, they had a theme show. It was Goodbye, Iona. Goodbye, Iona. Vibrator. And she's gone now. They said goodbye to her Monday. I know the producer of that show. Her name is Lily Von Stupp. Hey, Lily.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, Mike.
Now, we're going to try this because, again, I heard from more people. Well, the thing was, I told people, I said, Lily doesn't really want to be on mic. They're like, well, we can't hear her, and it bugs us. So I figured I would try to get you to talk. So it's at least closer now. You don't have to get way in here. You don't have to get all close. But so tell us about your show this week.
We've got dancers.
Now you're going to try to be quiet. You suck.
We've got dancers.
Yes. All right. Is it a theme show or a regular show?
No, it's a regular show. There's no more themes till September 1st.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we want a themeless summer. Why not?
We do. Well, all of August is the summer of burlesque.
Oh.
Yes.
Sounds fantastic.
I know it does, doesn't it?
You told me earlier about a theme that's coming up that I was excited about.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. No, I think it's a great
you
theme.
Hate it.
I can't wait till it comes up.
We're having. No, I'm not.
No, we'll talk about it when it comes up.
You're mocking me.
I'm not. I'm being genuinely.
You are totally mocking me.
That is incorrect.
That is horrific.
No. Well, I mean, sure it is, but it's still a good idea.
Okay.
Well, when it comes up, we'll talk about it. But this coming Monday, who's there?
Joseph the Conjurer is hosting. We've got
Jay the Sia.
Yeah. We've got Pretty Pistol Burlesque coming in.
Double
a troupe of
PB,
3
yeah.
girls. We've got just a lot of great performers, a couple debuts.
Will you be
Awesome.
dancing? Will you be picking up? Will you be hosting?
I will be working the door.
You're working the door, and you're there. You're always a constant
always
presence.
there.
Well, that's good. And are there any drink specials this week?
Yes, you're funny. We have Pucker Up Vodka as a sponsor.
Really?
Yes, it's awesome.
Sponsored by Pucker Up Vodka.
Yes.
You know, I'm sponsored by tweakedaudio.com/40.
I'm jealous.
Oh, stop. It doesn't taste nearly as good as vodka. I'm serious.
I ate my headphones. They were awesome.
Really? So, depends, that's why they're candy colored. So immediately they're like, I got to put milk on these and shove them down my gullet. Fantastic. Well, that's great. That's the Monday Night Tease every Monday night at Santa Monica and Vines 3 clubs, 10 o'clock p.m. this week. Lily will be there. And again, as always, as you know, if you grab Lily's ass, you get in free. So that's the thing to do when you go there. Has anybody ever done that to you?
People grab my ass all the time. It's okay to do that.
Of course they do, because you're a woman.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's why women have asses. To be grabbed. Man, I'd love to place my hands upon your fucking sexy ass and squeeze. Tenacious D. I just sang that before we recorded. I can't stop listening to that album again. I revisited it because it's fucking hilarious. The first album, dude. All right, I'll tell you this story. There's a sketch on there where Jack Black goes, brrrring, brrrring, and then Kyle answers, he's like, huh? And Jack Black goes, hey, Kyle, how are you? He goes, oh, I'm good. He goes, what's going on over there? And Kyle goes, oh, nothing. And Jack Black cuts him off and goes, I love you. And Kyle goes, what? And he goes, said I love you, man. And Kyle goes, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome. And Jack's like, well, you got anything to say to me? And he goes, well, I like you. And Jack goes, like. And it's fucking hysterical. So Karen went to the Los Angeles Film Festival a couple of weeks ago. She was working it, and she wound up walking, and she crossed paths, and she's in an elevator with Jack Black and Shirley MacLaine. And I said to her, I go, why? Because she's making eye contact with him, and she said hi to him, and he was nice to her. I said, why didn't you just go, brrrring, brrrring? And Jack, it's for you. I guarantee you he would have answered. He would have said, hello? Hey, Jack, How's it going on that side of the elevator? Oh, it's pretty good. Hi, I love you. I said you should have done it. It would have been fucking great. If I meet him, I'm doing it. It's going to be horrible. He's going to hate me and run away. Oh my God, how funny is it? Do it whenever. If you meet Jack Black, do that. He's got to answer, right? Just say it's for you, Jack. And then we answer, I love you. It was, oh God. It's dumb. That's what their album is. Their album is supremely dumb, but before they became really crazy stoner dumb, like that first album is fucking fantastic. Bullshit. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And it rocks. It's like really good. God damn it. That first album's awesome. All right. And then every time I've talked about it on here, then I see him on a talk show and I want to stab him because he's in a parka and he's giving one-word answers. Dude, you have charisma out the ass. Where is it? Brutal. Hi. There's a podcast in progress as I got sidetracked by an album. But I told Karen to do that. Why didn't she do that? Jack, it's for you. He would have answered. Shirley MacLaine would have been like, what the fuck's going on here? She would have snapped her fingers twice and disappeared into the 1800s.
I think it's ridiculous that you think he'd answer.
He would answer.
He wouldn't.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, he answers. He's in. He's in.
He'd pull hipster bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
No, I side on. I think I'm firmly on the side of Jack Black playing along. I think it happens. He's a yes and guy. He is not someone who's just going to stiff you. He's gonna yes and that to death, and he'll do the whole thing with you. I guarantee it. Do it, folks. By the way, if you run into Jack Black, do that to him, and then tell me that it went well. Lie to me, so I can prove to Lily that I'm right. You guys remember that you can go to the MikeSchmidtComedy.com website. First of all, you can be my friend at Facebook.com, as I've mentioned many times, Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. There's all sorts of people who want me to come to their cities. As I've mentioned, there's Indianapolis is still active, Minneapolis, Chicago is active, Boston, Atlanta, Kansas City, all these cities that want me to come to town. And when I say cities that want me to come to town, I mean a tiny, tiny amount of people in those cities want me to come to their town. It's not like the whole city's rallying, or else I'd come to that fucking city. Believe me, I'd be there by now. You know who does not want me to come to town? Boston. There's a page, and there's a few people in Boston, but Boston has pretty much decided, nah, we don't need you to come to our town. They got their own comedy thing happening there. Every other city, however, is in play, except for the cities that are already booked, as I've mentioned many times. Folks, remember, I'll be in Philadelphia July 29th at the Plays and Players Theater, third floor. That's next Friday, not tomorrow, but Friday, July 29th. That'll be fun. Remember, I'm coming to New York August 12th at the Producers Club Crown Theater. That's in Hell's Kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. That's August 12th. It's a Friday. And I'm also in Denver, Colorado at the Dangerous Theater, Denver's Dangerous Theater. That's September 16th, also a Friday. Showtimes are online. Tickets are available at Brown Paper Tickets, or you can click the link via my Facebook page and go to Brown Paper Tickets and buy the stuff there. I should also tell you this, folks. I am coming to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania next Friday. Still trying to sell some tickets. That would be great if people bought some tickets and came out to see me. Tell your friends. Tell all the people who like cheesesteak that I'll be there. That's right, everybody. Everybody likes cheesesteaks. You get a mention. But I wanted to tell you that Philadelphia will also see the debut of our tour shirts.
What?
That's right. We had talked about doing shirts for certain cities. Well, I can tell you that Philadelphia is the first of those cities. We had thought about Seattle, like I said, but just it did not work out. Unfortunately, some stuff happened with the artwork regarding Max. He was busy. He had some family stuff. I had some stuff going on, so we couldn't get stuff done under the wire. Will we do retro shirts for those cities? Maybe. Although it was a hard enough time selling tickets to Seattle. Although, because last week the Cobain artwork, that would have been the T-shirt. And it's like when I did Austin, the Austin 6311 shirt, that would have been the T-shirt for Austin. We've thought of them. It's just we weren't able to get them in under the wire. But Philadelphia is done. And so I'll be bringing Philadelphia shirts with me. I will tell you this, too. I monkeyed around with sizes a little bit. I'm not going to have many shirts to sell because, again, I'm not selling enough tickets to go ahead and buy 100 shirts. There's going to be majority extra larges. There's a couple of larges. There's a couple of mediums. And then there's a couple of like 2Xs. So I will be bringing them, and first come, first served. If they're gone, they're gone. But I still haven't decided what shirts cost. I'm still trying to figure out. You know why? Because I don't have them yet. Once I get them, yes, $1 million. Why not? But shirts will be available at the Philadelphia show. So go ahead and pick those up if you want. That would be great. First of all, buy tickets. I mean, that's a little more important if you're in the building. Then you can see the shirt and decide for yourself. But the show is more important than the shirt, folks. So come on out and see the show. Buy a ticket. Tell your friends to buy tickets. Everybody buy tickets in Philadelphia, New York, and Denver. And always looking for other cities. Like I said, if I can make them happen, I'll make them happen. But right now, things are always in play. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. Be Lily's friend. Be David Hernandez's friend as well. Like I mentioned, you can find them through links under the Mike Schmidt Inc. section of Facebook. Here's a weird thing. I'm on Google Plus. Just because I got invited by 5 different people and I kept ignoring it, and then finally I went, fuck this. So then I went in and I set up a page, and that's it. Literally, I've not been back since because I don't know about Circle. I'm old. I'm an old man. It's hard enough for me to maintain, but I'm maintaining. I already got a website dying on the fucking vine because I don't have a web guy. Long story. But I'm in Google Plus. If you find me and you want to make me your friend or whatever, that's cool. Go ahead and do that, or put me in your circle, or I don't know how it works. I'm old. I'll know in 3 years when it's not cool anymore. So that's fine. Also, I will tell you this. There's a Reddit page for the 40-year-old boy that was set up by a listener to the show who James was like, I'm going to do this for you. I said, great. He set it up, and some people have already kind of gone over and posted some stuff. Not a lot. Once I can get it down, again, I'm old. Once I can get in there and start posting, I'll start posting stuff in there, and I'll try to keep it alive, and we can all talk and have a good time and have a 40-year-old boy, fairy party there in Reddit. But there's a 40-year-old boy page in Reddit right now. You can go post stuff. You can post topics. I'll answer any questions. You can, anything you wanted to ask me as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. It's been up for like 3 weeks. All right. James put it up and I've been looking at it, trying to figure out. I can't get over the fact that you're supposed to post in this one square, but I want to post to my page. I don't want to post to all of Reddit because then I'm like that guy who's, crazy nerd idiot who doesn't know how to use the fucking internet, and I got to get mocked by everybody in the fucking world. So as soon as I figure out what to do, I'll be there. But if you want to post questions or topics or anything like that, and maybe there'll be bonus artwork over there, who knows? But I want to try to use Reddit and make it a thing. So if you guys are on Reddit and you're into Reddit, go over to the 40-year-old boy page and post stuff, and I'll answer whenever I can, I'll be checking it all the time. Who am I kidding? What am I doing? Nothing. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Remember, there's the Joe Business page with all the links that you can check out. It's got the link to the Zazzle store where we still have mugs and mouse pads available. It's got the link to tweakedaudio.com/40. Which I will be mentioning in just a second. And also it's got the link to the downloads. You can buy year 1, year 2, and year 3 of this show, or you can buy the Lord of the Schmidt set, which is, of course, Return to the Schmitty, the Two Schmidts, and the Fellowship of the Schmidt. You can buy all of those together in one group, and it's a price break. Go ahead and check that out. It's a download set. I'll send you the links. Everything will be fine. There's a way to donate to this show, too, on MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Upper left-hand corner, you click on the little Schmitty with his pocket out and donate whatever you want. You can subscribe, $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. Or you can make a one-time donation to the show, and that works out great. I get that just as well as I get the subscriptions. What if I didn't? Look, folks, you make a one-time donation, it goes to Russia. They get it. Russia has intercepted all of my donations. But if you make a donation, by all means, go ahead and let me know if you want me to say your full name on the show, or if you want to just go ahead and have your name mentioned. I mention everybody. People like Matthew R. Why not mention Matthew R., who donated to the show? This was Matthew R.'s 5th donation.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Matthew. I really appreciate that very much, Matthew R. David L. I'm sorry, Dave L. Let's call him Dave L. I don't want to call him David. We're not formal here. Dave L., huh? I don't know. If I was formal, I'd say his full name. Dave L. donated to the show. Thank you so much. Brian S. donated to the show. This was Brian's 2nd donation. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Carl C. donated to the show. This is his 3rd donation. Carl C., thank you so much. And Oliver R. donated to the show. Thank you so much, Oliver R. And I should tell you this, too. Some people donated this week, okay? And they wrote me a note, and they said, use my full name. I'm so excited. So this week, when you say my name, use my full name. I'm a little behind in mentioning names. So once I get to your name, I will absolutely say your full name. Don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not shirking my duties. I'm still, because I don't want to say so many names in one show. I say a few, and therefore unfortunately it stretches out, so I don't get to people until a certain time. So if you donated this past week, you're on the list. You'll get mentioned at some point, and I will say your full name. Thank you for saying so. But right now I'm still kind of catching up, and I'm a few behind. So right now, though, again, I thank Matthew R. for his 5th donation, Dave L., Brian S. for his 2nd donation, Carl C. for his 3rd donation, and Oliver R. Thank you so much for all of your donations. I appreciate it. And remember, the month of July, if you donate $20, you can get a cock ring watch from tweakedaudio.com/40. If you donate $40, you'll get a free set of earbuds from tweakedaudio.com/40. That's right, the very same earbuds I'm using this second. Well, that's a lie. A style not unlike those that I'm using right now. I would hate to send you, what if I sent used earbuds? What if that was the case? I sent used earbuds to people like I was in Japan and I was sending out Squirrel Girls panties. Oh my Christ. They do that in Japan, right? They do that here? You have a friend who sends out used panties? Who?
You will not trick me with that.
Oh, almost gotcha. Well, but in Japan, they're in vending machines. So that's not Japan. I want to go so bad, even though it's freaky. And if you donate $50 or more to the show, you will get the full-on set. You'll get the Tweaked Audio cock ring watch. You'll get the tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds. It's the entire anti-premature ejaculation set all in one if you donate $50 and up, as these people did this past week, who I will get to later and say their full names. Don't worry, I will mention you. And also, like I said, you can follow me at twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. And now I head home to try to talk my wife out of a jazzling herself. Not really. She's not going to, but she was looking for a wax joint. She had a wax joint that she liked a lot. I don't know why she was looking for a different one. We were driving and she saw their sign and liked it. She's like, remind me when I get home to look up this wax place. So she looked up the wax place. Folks, I don't know if you can hear that helicopter. Hold on, we're under attack. That's weird. That's close. That seems very close.
I can see it.
Really? Perhaps they're checking for Carmageddon. Perhaps Carmageddon has seized us again. So Karen saw, and she looked them up on the thing, and she's like, oh my gosh, they do that vajazzling stuff. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, what if I did that? And I'm like, I don't know. I would chip a tooth. I mean, I have no idea what. Honestly, I don't know what if you did that. I don't think I'm in. That doesn't seem like the thing. Folks, a lot of freaky vagina stuff this week. Did you see the Summer's Eve commercials? Dude, all right, look. I could not stop laughing when I saw them because it's got to be a dance over at Summer's Eve to try to advertise that product, okay? Because you don't want to come out and just go, hey, do you stink? I mean, honestly, you can't. You don't want to say that, and I understand that. You got to try to make it delicate, and I guess you got to try to make it fun. I didn't know you had to make it racist to get people's attention. Did you see it? You saw them, right? Dude, it's a side. They got the hand, or they have a hand that represents a vagina, and then it's a black woman's vagina, so it's all sassy and it's talking. Again, all right. Summer's Eve. If you don't want to, it's a feminine hygiene product, folks. If you don't know what it is, and they're advertising themselves, and they basically have. You know who Senor Wences was? And he would have his little hand. He'd be like, "Is that right? Is that right?" And well, that's what it is. The hand is like a vagina, and they hold it, and they talk out of their vagina. And then the black woman is like this sassy. Of course, it's a sassy black woman, and she even says like, "Honey child," I think at that point. And then there's another one where it's the Latina one, and she opens up. She goes, "Ay ay ay, another delay." I'm like, "Oh my god, wait a minute!" At Summer's Eve, they just like, look, nobody gives a fuck about our heads anyway. Let's go as racist as possible to be just as noticed. I saw the Latina one, and there was the black girl one, and then the white person one, which just sounds like she's from Canada. And she's decrying the fact that, like, she has snow in her vagina. I don't know what the fuck it was. But even the Latina chick, the Latina one is like, ay, 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 oh, that leopard thong. And she talks in like a string of Spanglish or something. Holy shit, how offensive could you possibly be? Why not? You know what? And the thing is, as they're talking, there's drawings that are coming up over them. And the black girl eventually gets an afro. Like, she's got an afro above her vagina. And the Latina girl has the thong. But then all these Spanish words come up. And it's like, dude, why not just have like a big yellow legal pad and have her hold her hand sideways and say ching chong bing bong? Seriously. How fucking racist do you want to be? Just go, you know what? Have that fake pussy brought up sideways in a rickshaw and put a rice patty head on it and just fill in around it with like pictures of babies being adopted by Angelina Jolie. Seriously, what the fuck? How horribly racist could you possibly... It's bad enough you're conveying the vaginas with a hand and then the afro and the Latina thing, but now just go ahead and throw a Chinese person with a sideways vagina into the mix. Because look, we all know that about the Celestials, right? They have the sideways vagina. We learned this when they built our railroads. Their men were building our railroads, and the women with their sideways vaginas would sit there, and then as we got older and someone tried to hit us with a cream pie in the face, they would spring off, full of rage, based in their sideways vagina, and throw a karate chop on somebody. That's right. Oh, and she was right there.
am just stupid enough to think that when people listen to me and they listen to the show, they should take my honesty and go, oh, wow, how refreshing his unvarnished honesty is. And the fact that he's willing to have a scorched earth policy and have no friends or no fucking future is so refreshing and great. But then they'll say to me, hey, do you need somebody raped with a steak? I go, yes, I do. Done. They'll take care of it for me. Thanks, Snake Rape. Oh, no one listens to show, bro? Wonder why? Wonder why no one listens to show, bro? I don't want to listen to show, bro. Please. Snake Rape, do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it!